feel like a star, but only strictly where I'm famous. I'm in this for the longest haul, like we'll see where it takes us. I'm throwing back these double shots like whiskey here is weightless. Cause this career I chose was even riskier than Vegas, yo.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Colby Rebel Show. I am your host, Colby Rebel, and it is a special day and a special time for a very, very special guest today. So I'm gonna give a second, let everybody jump on in here. Feel free to ask your question or request that connection and just put it in the comments. So there is a lot going on. We have a lot coming up. I am super excited to head back to New Jersey, my hometown, this coming weekend. Very, very excited for Dinner with Spirit, which will be Sunday night. The tickets are almost sold out, you guys. So if you do want to join me, please come back in and grab your ticket. We will put the link in the comments for you. But super excited. It's always good to go home and see family, friends, and of course, all of my people there where we can connect to your loved ones with laughter and some tears and some very beautiful messages that they always tend to give us. So there's a lot heading on. As you know, today we are at a special day. We are at a very special time. And of course, it is for a very special guest. So my guest today is just an incredible medium. She's incredibly talented, gifted, beautiful, bright, and truly an ambassador to spirit. She is an author, she is a teacher, and of course, a good friend of mine. And you've seen her not once or twice, but several times on the podcast. But let's put our hands together for Lauren Rainbow.
Hi, Lauren. Wow, what a very special introduction, Colby. Thank you so much.
Oh, how are you?
I'm doing good. I'm very excited to be back here, to be reconnecting with you. And I know we're going to talk about it, but I'm excited that you're also going to come to New England.
Yes.
So that we can connect in person.
You know, it's so great because I feel like, it feels like we've known each other for so long, but yet I was like, I don't think we've met in person. I feel like we've taught classes together, you've been on the show, and it's like, we've had virtual cocktails, but I don't think we've met in person. So I'm very, very excited, but I'm wondering if it's going to be kind of cold there.
It is. Well, so I mean, you're in New Jersey, so it may be a little bit better, but when you get up here to New England, definitely bring a little fall jacket because we are starting to feel our fall kick in here.
Yes. So, let's see how you've been. What's been going on for you? How are everything in New England? Are you feeling like able to get out and about and kind of shaking your tail feather?
Oh my God, yes. I mean, it's been an incredible, weird 2 years, but here in New England, we are starting to feel like normal. I love that also that you're coming here so we can work in person in the rooms again. And we've been starting to do DEMS here too and getting out into the theaters and connecting with spirit. So it feels so good. I still love being able to meet so many different people from all over online, but doesn't it feel good when you get back out and just be in the room with humans again?
Yeah, it's going to be wonderful. And, we also have some exciting news, I think, since last time, because I think we're now married, right?
Yeah. I mean, it's been a little over a year and a half. I'm married. My husband's actually back in India right now, prepping for a journey where I'll be bringing folks to India. So if anybody wants to join us in January, come along.
How wonderful. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so we're, the other part about getting back out in the world now, as you know, Colby, before the pandemic, I did sacred journeys where I'd go to places like Egypt and, Peru and India. And for a while that stopped, but now we're starting to get back out there. So we're going to be doing a journey to India in January. We're going to be covering the 3 most holiest cities in the country. And we have an extension to Nepal. We'll be going to Kathmandu. And it's really just exploring the temples, the great opportunities to be in an energy of faith and reverence and just to be around the Ganges, the sacred river. It's incredible. So
Oh, how wonderful. That's great.
I
Well,
know I'm
good.
excited.
Yeah, yeah. And it must be nice to be able to do these classes and journeys with your loved one.
Yeah, this is, in other places and I have such great guides, but yes, when your partner is the guide in the country, I know I can be like, can we go here? And you're like, whatever you
Yes.
want.
Isn't that wonderful? Yeah, yeah, is exactly. He'll know exactly where to take you and what to do, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. So lots of fun. I'm excited.
Well, let's share with everyone our workshop, signs,
Yeah.
symbols, and spirit messages, which very, very much looking forward to. This is Saturday, October 22nd, 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. And we actually did this workshop virtually last year, and just people loved it, didn't they, Lauren? They really
Yeah.
did.
And we decided to extend it because the last time we did it was a little mini webinar, like
Yep.
an hour and a half. And here we're going to do an all-day workshop where people get to come join us again live in the room. We're going to be in Tingsboro, by the way, here in Massachusetts, right on the border of New Hampshire. So, and it's going to be an opportunity to not only learn, what the different signs, symbols, and how spirit connects with us, but also give everybody a chance to practice connecting too, which I love when we teach.
Yeah, that's going to be wonderful. Just giving them these little practice, just to give them and to focus on one thing, right? Like here's our focus for this. And because sometimes, when we get a chance to focus on one aspect and then we bring it all together, it makes it more fluid and more complete in that connection. Yeah.
Absolutely. And I think it's important for anybody if you're tuning in and you're out here in New England, it's because some people go, is it a beginner's class? Am I prepared for it? And I always say, come on in, because this is about you learning more about how to see signs and symbols and how spirit communicates with us in these ways. So it doesn't matter what level you're at, or if you've never done it before, this is just a great chance to come in, learn about it, give it a try. So I always say, don't worry about level, just come. If you're feeling called, be with us. It'll be fun.
That's right. Well, because I feel like any level would be able to get something out of this, right?
100%.
Any level. Yes.
100%.
But then we get to have a demonstration together as well, which extremely excited to do that in person with you. And we have that coming up as well. So that's also going to be just super, super fun and amazing and really excited, connecting beyond. And that is
Yay.
Friday, October 21st. And it's a 2-hour demonstration. So I know a lot of spirit messages are going to come through then, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, that's going to be a lot of fun. I bet the energy in that room is going to be spectacular, huh?
Well, the other thing I love when two mediums work together too, and I'm sure you'll agree, Colby, is people get to see different styles. I think the one thing that when we're teaching mediumship, and I know you do as well, is that every medium has their own unique way. There's similarities in the way that we both sense and feel,
Yeah.
but how it actually comes through us is uniquely different. So I'm excited for people to see you work, because I know you're just amazing and strong and fun, and maybe even do some of our like double linking together so they can see two spirits, two mediums work the same spirit.
Yeah, we always have fun when we do that, for sure. Yes. So now, if anybody listening, following, watching, if you have a question or want a connection, put it in the comments. Maybe we'll see if we have a little bit of time to kind of answer those or check those out, right? But Lauren, I want to know, when you are connecting to spirit, how does spirit come in for you? Is it more clairvoyantly, clairaudiently, clairsentiently? How does your connection with spirit work for you?
Yeah. And so that's a great question. I've never really kind of, said, I always feel like for me, it starts with a sentient connection. There's always, and when we say sentient, that feeling of a knowing, right? That a spirit has come forward. Sometimes we feel the vibrational shift in the room is the way I often describe it. I do get a lot of more clairaudient information. So I tend to kind of hear information that comes to me from them. I'm a little clairvoyant, but I always tell people I'm not the strongest that way. It's like I get some images in my mind that I have to kind of field out, but I kind of want to be the medium that can actually say, oh, I see them right there. But I'll be like, I feel them right there. So yeah, so I would say work a little bit more clairsentient, a little bit of clairaudience with a mix of clairvoyance on the top of it all. But really, it's amazing to just, it's a practice of trust that way, isn't it? Learning to just, as I'm teaching, and I know you do, is finding students going, I see these weird things, or I'm feeling things, but I'm scared to say it. And I'm like, say it. That's usually when the magic happens. So yeah, definitely a little bit of all, but mostly sentient and audience when I work with spirit.
Yeah, that's great, because it's like one of those things where I feel like a lot of times, we all can work a little differently, or maybe some of these clairs we're talking about is more dominant for one medium than another. And, I'm always big on building them all, right? Just kind of bringing them in as much as we can. But yeah, it's interesting to see like how, and different spirits too, right? So it's not just how we necessarily work, but also spirits may kind of work with us a little differently as well.
Good point. Yeah. Good point. I was just thinking that now that you say that, it's like, it is. Don't you find that some will tune into, like I do have on occasion a medium, spirit that will sometimes give me a little bit more vision than I'm used to. It is how they work is unique. And I love that you brought that up. How would you say you kind of work with spirit in that way?
Well, I feel like for me, definitely that clairsentient for sure is the first and foremost sense that I get, and then as I'm connecting to them, I definitely may hear their voice or the sound of their voice or the tone. I can sometimes see a picture of them in my mind's eye. But, again, sometimes it's impressions, because if you're blending with spirit, I don't necessarily see them face on. I feel as if they're within me in a way. So sometimes I get a sense of their build versus seeing the build, right?
You all of a sudden feel like I gotta
Yeah, absolutely. So, but it's really fun and exciting, of trusting, right, that communication that we are getting and that we are receiving. What's one interesting thing is I find, and I want to get your take on it. I do find, especially mediums that are kind of starting out, they kind of tend to say, oh, they're so afraid, or they get a sense of fear, right? When they feel spirit, they get a sense of fear and feeling as if it's negative energy. But my counter to that is, I don't necessarily believe that what they're picking up is negative energy. I know that when spirit comes in, our heart will start to race a little bit. We start to feel goosebumps. Like we start to feel anxious because our vibration is rising. And I think that can make us feel as if it's fear. It's like a fear sensation, even though it's really the presence of spirit around us. But what do you think, Lauren?
100%. I mean, I know many moons ago now when I first felt spirit come in for the first time. And I think as you're saying, it's overwhelming at first. And when we first have that shift of like, wow, there's someone here. I'm feeling this energy. Like you said, we get the quickening in the heart. And, I remember not feeling afraid, but intimidated almost the first time, just like, what is going on here? But it didn't, but I've had people, I think just by that stark reality of, oh, there's something here, we tend to go, oh, what does it want? Is it scary? And if there's one thing I've learned over the years is that, every human has a journey and not everybody's perfect. But despite who they were in their life, they just want to heal. They want to get better, even if they had challenges, or stay amazing if they were amazing, So I think it's really key that if you're just getting started and you're feeling those first moments to, allow practice, breathe through it. But I've never had a spirit yet try to harm, hurt, or anything. They're always like, how can we heal? How can we help?
Yes, absolutely. And I do feel that spirit wants to step in. You know what I also find interesting, I'd love to get your take on this too, is I find too, if someone had a more difficult relationship with someone, or perhaps spirit really has an apology, or maybe they were estranged before the departed, right? They were estranged. That spirit steps behind a little bit. It's almost like they stand there, and then I can tell that they need permission to come in. So then I know I have to go to my sitter and say, this is who I have. Would you understand this? And now do they have permission to come in? And then the spirit will really come in. I mean, how has your experience with that been?
100%. I think that when you learn to sense and understand exactly what you're saying, certain spirits will feel closer, like they're ready, like this connection is okay. You can definitely tell when there's been some trauma or challenge there. And it's always like, are you in checking in with people? Are you comfortable? Are you ready to allow this? And I find that spirits more like, I'll respect, but I really want to hopefully get in there and work through this, and that's something, Colby, I think is so key is, and I teach this a lot, is in the living, we look at the mediumship as like, I want to know my loved one's okay. It's not that it's selfish, but we definitely have that need to want to know, is my loved one okay? I miss them. Do they know? But I don't know if people always understand that what we bring to when a sitter connects and they receive that spirit, they're also helping the spirit grow and heal and shift. And I always say mediumship is healing on both sides. So I always tell people, you don't have to receive them, but if you can open to the opportunity of forgiveness or an apology, you're also giving them a chance to continue their growth. And a lot of people are like, oh, okay,
Yeah, absolutely. Have you received any signs from your husband's loved ones in spirit?
That's so funny. I had once when we had first met, he has some loved ones who have passed. He has a brother in the spirit. And I remember one morning when we were in India, I was like, I think I feel this. And I was checking with him. He's like, yeah, that's what happened. And it was a little interesting, but being that he's Hindu, he's very open spiritually, which is amazing. And he dreams about his family a lot. And he'll wake up in the morning and be like, I just dreamed of my family and this is what I was seeing. So I actually am impressed about how well he's already connected to receiving them in a way and has that interaction, which I think is fantastic.
Yeah, that's wonderful. That's really great. That's good.
Yeah.
I love it. Yeah, it's nice when they're aware and open, isn't it?
It is. And, it's different perspectives. You learn that different traditions have different things. So it's interesting, with Hindu, with him being Hindu, we have different practices here. I think one time I came on your show and you had just given me the little blessing.
Right.
The little tika had a big orange spot here. I even have like bracelets we wear, like he's always tying things on my arm. Like this black one is for protection. And, this one's a different kind of blessing. So he'll be like, I got to tie this on you. So it's really fun to participate in a whole other aspect of spirituality that's, really imbued in a form of devotion to their energy. But as a Hindu, he is really comfortable. This is interesting when you talk about cultures and, how we are in America, we tend to need the healing of knowing our loved ones are okay. In his tradition, he already feels that his family is safe and comfortable. So he doesn't ask me, do you feel my dad or my brother or anyone? He doesn't really ask that. He knows. But they really love astrology. He loves it if I pull out my deck to pull cards. He'll always be like, oh, pick some cards for me. So they do have a deep root in their own tradition, especially with astrology. It's very important to them that they consult and look at the stars. And he'll often say, like, after this month, your energy is going to get better. We had to get married by a certain day, when we knew that we were definitely going to get married. He's like, what day of the month do we do this on? He's like, we have to do it this week and around one of these days.
Wow. Yeah, that's great.
They consult the astrologer for the best energy. So I love that, though. I think I'm like, okay, fine. That works for me.
I love
it. So it's neat to share the traditions. Yeah.
Oh, fantastic. Well, we have Debbie here that is wondering if either of us have a message from one of her loved ones. So do we want to tune in to see if we feel anyone around her, Lauren?
Absolutely. We sure can.
Okay.
Do you want to, if you have a start, or I can start, whatever you're sensing?
How about you start and I'll follow in.
And so Debbie, I think if she's there, she might give us a little comments, right? To let us know if some of this is connected.
Debbie, if you were there, please give us comments as quickly as you can.
Let us know if something makes sense here. And well, I know like what we've done in the past with Colby is I'll share some and she might jump in and add some, which I love.
Yep.
I get a gentleman that seems to be stepping in though around here, Debbie, that may be perhaps like a father figure around you, or if it's a grandfather, but I do have a gentleman that's coming in very quickly to my energy. And I don't think he was a tremendously older gentleman when he passed. I might be around 50s, 60s, kind of in that middle, I like to say young, older middle years versus young elderly. And I get a sense that I've had a fast moving passing that may have been around illness or a fast transition. He's given me the feeling that he had gone faster than he hoped to. I see him as somebody who had either a good sense of humor, but he feels like he had some disconnects around the family, because I do sense he wants to come in and actually reach out and acknowledge you, Debbie, as a sense of being really well connected with you, or wanting to connect more with you. Let me see if I can get a little touch.
She says it's her husband.
It is her husband. Okay.
Yes.
Oh, so we understand I'm like, I didn't even see that. Good. And so if you understand this so far, Debbie, would you understand that he seems to have like a strong, it's funny, Colby, we were just talking about like how he kind of steps in like he was either a strong kind of gentleman when he was here. So 42, there's the age, and you understand there was
they're married 42 years.
Oh, 42 years. Okay. I'm 42 years. Good. And I get the sense you understand that reaching out, he wants to show his love for you, leaving too soon. But he's got this kind of strong, way that he sits in my energy, as though he had a loving confidence. And I know he just keeps giving me, I left too soon. And he just definitely wants you to know that he's doing okay. Colby, do you want to I have more, or do you want to put something in there?
Yeah, I just feel like he gives me the sense he gives me the sense of something in his throat, Debbie, where either he's unable to speak at the end, or, but there's really a sense where he isn't able to communicate or speak or talk at the end. So he gives me that, but he also makes me feel like you were with him at the end. So I feel like you were with him at the time he passed, and he gives me a sense, okay, couldn't swallow. He gives me a sense, though, of you being there. Also a sense of you putting a washcloth on him. So I feel like it was a cool washcloth, so he gives me that. He shows me that. And I just feel like there's a sense where, he wasn't one to ask for help. This is a guy who didn't like to ask for help. And I just see him having big hands as well. So I feel like there are these big manly hands that he's got. And I also feel like I don't know if you can connect to the name James, Debbie, for someone in the living or in spirit.
Huge hands, huge hands.
Yeah, huge hands. See, there we go. But I get the name James as well, maybe a first name or perhaps a middle name of someone in the living or in spirit. So if you can take that name, also let us know, okay? And your son-in-law. Okay, perfect. There we go. Lauren, we'll go back to you.
Yeah, I have one more piece here that I want to throw in. It comes back, I think, a little bit to when you're getting the big hands too, is I definitely see that this is a man who could almost build things, or was also strong in working. And I don't know if he actually built the house that you lived in, or like a deck, but I feel like I was building something, or had a way of building almost on the side of his life. So his projects, liking to get in there, I definitely see some kind of building going on here with him. And Debbie, the other thing I really feel is that he gives me that you have a sense of joy, that you are always keeping him moving forward, keeping him alive, and kind of being the one that's like, let's go do things. It built a deck on the back of the house. Okay, perfect. And I really get the sense that he wants you to still go and do some of the fun things that we should have been doing. What is the Wild Wild West connection?
I wonder if it's John Wayne. See if there's a connection to either Wild Wild West movies, or maybe the name John or Wayne. I don't know, but that's really it. Let's see what she says.
I know you're getting something similar, because I'm like Wild West, or do we live in like the desert? I don't know, but I'm getting like this kind of Wild West image in my brain all of a sudden with him.
That is super funny.
I love John Wayne. Okay, lovely.
That's
I love that
really
you're waiting
fun.
for the answer. Like,
yeah, I know. It's like, come on, Debbie, type faster.
Debbie, you're doing great, by the way. Like, that's the perfect way to respond.
Yeah, no, it is.
The one thing and Colby, if there's any messages, but I feel like he wants to give you the biggest bear hug. Like, I just want to squeeze you, give you and I feel like he could just give you these like really squeezy, like hold you tight hugs. And I feel like that's something he just really is kind of embracing around my energy right now. Like, I just want to give you a big squeeze and let you know it's going to be okay, but to enjoy the things that still live and enjoy the things that he wanted to do with you when he was here, like do them in his memory, if that makes sense.
Yeah. And I just feel like, it's interesting because he feels like he's around her all the time, right? He just feels like he's always with her and
Until they
he's
scream.
around her. And that's so funny. That's so cute.
Oh,
Um, but I just feel like he is around you all the time, Debbie. Also, a sense where I do feel like we either have a celebration coming up or an anniversary coming up. To me, he shows me balloons. So I feel like we've got something right around here coming up that he gives me the sense. And I know he wasn't a person that liked to dress up too much a lot, but he shows me getting dressed up for you for this event. So I do feel like that's a sign, just to let you know that he is with you and that he is around you, Debbie. Okay. So there we go, right, Lauren? Our
I love
son's
that.
birthday. There we go.
Oh,
Perfect. Perfect. So just know that he is, she talks to him every day. Oh,
I
but
love that.
he
I
hears
just
her.
watching the story unfold. I love it.
Yes, yes. So now we've got a Cindy Jones here. She wants to know if anyone has a message for her. I mean, for me, for Cindy, a lady came right in, Lauren. So we'll see who you have for her. If it's, but I feel very strong, a mother figure, or
Go for it,
possibly
because
a
I'm with you.
grandmother. Okay, but I
I'm with
get
a
the
woman
sense, like,
too, so go for it.
yeah, she really gives me the sense to, and a very kind of sharp lady. She really gives me a sense of being sharp, being especially obviously when she's a little younger. She gives me a sense of being sharp. She gives me a sense of being on it. She really gives me a sense of like this, like snap, snap, snap. So she was always on the ball. And she makes me feel like there's love of a younger man. I do believe there may be a younger man with her on the other side because she makes me feel like she takes care of this younger man. Lauren, what are you getting around her?
Yeah, so similar, Colby. It's funny when you see two of us go in there. I did feel
Yeah.
a woman, as you were saying it, I was already getting a woman's energy. I am feeling either like a mom, aunt vibration as well. Also somewhat younger, elderly as well. I wouldn't say 80, 90, the woman I'm sensing. I like how you're saying sharp because I got a sense of together or with it.
Yes.
And I don't know if Cindy's there to give us a little sense that if she's there and can still connect with some of this. I do feel there's a cancer or lung illness that feels significant either to the gentleman that you're sensing or the woman. And I keep feeling like there's a smoker's connection here. I keep seeing the long ladies, thin cigarettes around. So I don't know if that's with the mom or significant to this woman as we're working with her, but there's a sense that there may have been an illness I feel around the lung. And I see these little tiny, I don't know what they're called, the little tiny thin cigarettes from the 80s.
It's her great grandson. So Cindy says her great grandson. So I guess that's the young man on the other side with her.
Is she connecting to the woman that we have there? I like it when you see the if we have a younger one in the family, it's always nice when an older one kind of shows that they're with them too.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes.
Morning sickness. Okay. So she was even younger, it sounds like. Is this your mom, Cindy, the woman?
Yeah. Would we understand it being mom for you? But there is just this sense too, where I just feel like for her, it was like, she just was bright, right, Lauren? Yeah. She dies while pregnant. Okay. Yeah. But she feels very bright, doesn't she? Doesn't she feel like this beautiful, bright light? And she gives this.
Her great grandmother.
Got it. Okay. Got it. Okay. Got it. Yeah.
So, Cindy, I know you're checking in, but does some of that make sense to the great grandmother, that kind of mid to younger elderly? We're both seeing the sharp dress look there. Does some of that make sense to her as well? So her mom's in spirit.
Her great grandmother.
Okay.
It's her great grandmother.
Trying to piece together.
I know. It's her great. She's saying it's her great grandmother.
Okay.
And she was with a young man, so that's what she's being told. So, no, on the other side.
I know. Okay, I get it. I was like,
yeah. But anyhow, I just feel like, I just feel like she comes in just to kind of let you know that she guides you and that she's around you. Lauren, is there any message that you get from her?
Yeah, one thing I'm sensing, Cindy, is a feeling of holding up the world around your energy. A sense that she wants me to literally say, take the stress off the shoulders. I don't know if you've become the matriarch of the family or so on yourself, but she's showing that you carry a lot of the family on your shoulders. And I feel like she wants to just acknowledge, like, don't take a lot of that on. And allow yourself a kind of a chance to breathe here, that you, like Colby said, definitely feeling love and support, but I feel like I want to take the family's weight off your shoulders.
Yeah, absolutely. We have just a few minutes left, so we'll do a little quick here. Let's go to Gail. She's like, is my grandmother okay? She needs to send strong signs to her mama and sis. Oh, her granddaughter, excuse me. Is my granddaughter okay? She needs to send strong signs to her mama and sis. But I feel like this little girl is sending strong signs. Don't you think, Lauren? Don't you feel that around this young girl? Like a wicked little powerful thing, isn't she?
Yeah, and I'm curious, Gail, if this is a granddaughter, like a little child, or is she a little older? I don't know why I'm getting a young thing, but I'm not quite sure I'm with a young child. And for with the same spirit sometimes. But I think I feel a powerful young girl that does come in, but there's a sense of an illness or fast passing for her. Does that make sense to you, Colby?
Yeah,
15. Okay, so she's 15.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
Mhm.
Yeah, I was like, I don't
Yes.
want to be like a 4-year-old. I sense almost a touch of maturity there, or getting
Yeah,
there.
but to me, there's like a wicked personality. Like she's, I don't know, sassy, fun.
Yes.
It's like this kind of um just fun. And I think a great sense of style with her clothes, or she just feels like she dances to her own.
Excellent sudden.
Yeah, she feels like she dances to like her own drum sort of feeling, right, Lauren?
Yeah. And Gail, well, I understand this was an accident. Would you understand from her perspective, it wasn't, it's almost, I always get stubborn with accidents. I don't think it was something she created or caused. It feels like something that was done unto her.
Yeah.
Kind of in the wrong place, wrong time, or I'm in a situation I shouldn't have been, but she kind of gives me that vibe there, if you understand that as well for her, Gail. But I agree with Colby 100%. She is, I feel like, sassy. I like what you're saying. I feel like she knew people.
Yeah.
She gives me a sense of being connected well with others. God, back at 15, I think back when I was 15, I'm like, I definitely feel like this was Gail, a woman who, a young girl who had a sense of connections with others. Would you be able to, I don't know if she kind of put something in there that understands
Nothing
that.
yet. Yeah, nothing yet. So Gail, for anyone who gets a reading, the quicker you respond to us, it just makes it easier. But I also feel like she keeps giving me a bracelet, so I feel like she would love to make things, make bracelets or make jewelry. So I see her, being able to be very stylish with
Very
things.
lively,
Yeah,
yes, beautiful.
yeah.
Okay.
So I feel like she's making things, putting things together. So she really gives me that sense. And I do feel like she gives signs. For me, I definitely keep seeing a hummingbird. I feel like there is a connection. Did you get that too,
Well,
Lauren?
I'm writing this down. I'm like, I wasn't sure if it was a hummingbird or like a dragonfly, but I also got a swarm. Like if there was either like there was a moment where there was an unusual amount around for some reason, like why are there all these dragonflies or hummingbirds? But it was like almost a swarm of something. So that's why I was like, oh yeah.
Yeah, no, it feels like it feels really good. And I also just feel like she has a message for her mom that she doesn't. It's like her mom and her sister that she does. Oh, we made bracelets, and yes, the hummingbird. How
Nice.
sweet. Isn't that beautiful? But she gives me a sense too, if she doesn't want her mom or sister to feel guilty. So I'm not sure if this is around the accident, or if mom let her go somewhere that she wasn't supposed to. I'm not really sure, but I keep feeling like she doesn't want mom and sis to feel guilty, for them to please let go of that. So if that resonates, that, Gail, please let us know. But my goodness, I mean, she is just such a cheerleader on the other side, huh, Lauren?
Yeah, and I want, this sounds, I always say we feel like this sounds weird, but she's giving me like lots of like glitter. So I think aside from, I don't think she like really sparkly, blingy kind of look and style and design. And I feel like that also connects toward the sister. Like there's a sense of sparkle, don't lose your sparkle, here's some glitter, like remember that kind of thing. So while I know she was very close to, it sounds like Gail, for getting this correct, close to her mom and her sister, I'm getting a little extra love for this sister right now in terms of staying on track. I feel like she wants to really embrace this young girl and just say, stay on track, you know, I've got your back.
Yeah, absolutely. So we do hope that helps, Gail, and lots of love to you. Can we do one more quick one, Lauren? Do we have that? Okay.
If we've got, you tell me if we have the time, we can dive in.
We got a couple minutes here, so let's just see. Christine would love to hear from her dad. So how about we just kind of bring in Dad? I want to do is just see what Gail said. I will tell them, and it may help. Yes to glitter and close to sis. So we'll just do that. We'll put that up there. See, I love that they do that, right? Okay, so Christine would like to hear from her dad. To me, her dad is very charismatic. That's the first thing that popped in around Dad. And I don't know if he played golf, but I see a golf course. So I'm not sure if there's a connection to golfing, golf course. Lauren, what do you get around her dad?
And I'm getting a sense of, again, younger age of sorts, mature but younger dad age versus like an 89-year-old gentleman. And I don't know why, Christine, but I'm getting a sense of a real sudden death here, although or significant around like a tumor or trauma to the head for some reason. But I feel like something really sharp happens here with somebody with him or around him in the spirit. There's one other piece here I want to acknowledge. Like Colby, it's funny that you're seeing it as a golf course. I always see him dressed in almost like a tennis outfit, like the white shorts.
Yeah,
and like
it's
so that might be the golf look that you're getting. I'm like, oh wait, that makes sense. Golf. I was like, oh, it's a tennis outfit. But he does look like he would be a more somewhat manicured but laid back kind of personality for the most part. And Colby, I like how you said he had great energy. I feel like this is a very congenial man. And like me, I think he either had a strong or loud structured voice, volume-wise, because there's a feeling like you could hear him laugh just about anywhere.
Yes.
And then we go, and it
just feels like, I'm just gonna stop. It feels like this Patty. I wonder if Patty is our little girl's mom. Patty, if you're the mom of that little girl, let us know. For some reason, it's interesting to see if you might be her mom. Wouldn't that be but I just feel like with Dad here, I just get the sense with him, nobody could pull one over on Dad. Like no one. This guy knew what he was doing. I feel like he's very sharp. And like Lauren said, I feel like he's a sharp dresser as well. And I get a sense around that with him. And I just feel like there's a situation where I feel like Dad just keeps telling you to be strong. So I feel like maybe, Christine, that you've been going through something and I feel like Dad is asking you to be strong. To know that you're stronger than you realize, to know that you absolutely can do this. So anything else you want to add to Dad, Lauren, and we'll move on?
Yeah. So the other thing I'm getting a sense of is money. So Christine, if you're still there, I know we haven't quite seen anything pop up yet, but I feel like there's a sense of money. And I feel like he did well enough with it or wanted to be a little bit better with money, but there's a sense that money is important. And it gives me a sense of having patience with yourself around money or managing it. But I get a feeling of like, everything's going to be okay. Everything's going to be all right.
Well, we will leave that with you, Christine, and we'll do one last one here because it's interesting that just seeing this Patty name, I felt like she was a mom with a kid in spirit, right? Just kind of a pop-in thought like we were talking about. So she has a son in spirit. So I know she didn't ask us, but let's just see if we can pull him in.
Oh, Christine just chimed in
look.
too real quick. Dementia, played golf, very sharp
Yeah.
dresser. Thank you,
Love it. Well, he's still wearing his golf attire, isn't he, Lauren?
Yes, I mean, like super sharp dresser, still in the spirit. I love it. And I gotta
Yes.
say, lastly, as we get ready for Patty here, if I can just, Christine, for somebody with dementia, I think he might have kept it together as best as he could, because I don't know if you agree, Colby, but I felt like there, while the head was coming up very strong for me, there was still a sense like trying to hold on to his memory, or really trying to do what he could to keep it strong as long as he could. That seems clear.
Yeah. And it might have just happened quickly too. Do you know what I mean? The dementia part quickly. Okay, so with the last couple minutes left, let's just bring in Patty's son. She seems that she's very excited about that. So here we go. So it's just about your son, Patty. Again, I think, it's kind of curious if he also, I do feel like he has his personality. We know who he is. I'm getting kind of, I wonder if he's more late teens, early 20s. It'd be interesting if you could give us his age. But I keep feeling like someone very, very lovable. I mean, he really is a softie. I think he's such a softie because I really get a lot of sensitivity around him. Oh, 30. He feels younger than that. He feels kind of young to me, a young energy. He doesn't, that's how he feels to me. Lauren, what do you get around him?
Yeah, and I think, like you're saying, there's an adult in there, but there's a sense of that youth. 30, I think, compared to us these days, Colby is young, isn't it? But the one thing I agree, and you're seeing it, and I almost feel like he's a bit apologetic. So I don't know if this was a sudden passing, and perhaps that he may have had some responsibility to it, or may have had a feeling like he could have done something differently to still be here. But he's giving me something sudden, and I feel like, Patty, he wants to apologize. He wants you to know I'm sorry, and a feeling like I'm okay, and really just trying his best to, there's almost like a you did what you could for me feeling. So I'm getting this as a sudden death. I don't know if I would label it fully a suicide or perhaps an overdose, but there's a feeling he may have been slightly responsible for his passing.
Yeah, it looks like it was, and he tried to keep it together at the end as much as possible.
Oh, that was from Christine's dad.
Yeah. But Patty says it was.
It was, okay.
Yes, it was.
His heart,
she says his heart.
Oh,
so it might have had like a.
Okay.
Yeah.
And would you understand, Patty, this feeling then, which, thank you, we understand it's obviously to me not quite a suicide, but did he not listen to something? I feel like I wanted to do more, or I wanted to fight more. There's that feeling like I didn't respond here to something. Would you understand that sense that he's giving us, Patty?
Yeah, that would be interesting to get. But again, I just feel, as she's working on that, I just feel like he gives me the sense too. He shows me very particularly, like he shows me, I don't know if he used to build models or he liked to put small things together with his hands. So I keep seeing him building as well. So if you can connect to that, Patty, and let us know. So Patty, I told him to go to the doctors.
Okay.
So I think that's where she's getting that understanding, like I should have listened. And it just gives me a sense where I just feel like with him, he gives me the sense of loving to build these little things, these little models, or using his hands. So he could be very particular with things. He would have been like also good at IT or fixing things, soldering things. It's interesting. Like there's a lot going on there with him as well. So if you can take that, let us know. But I just, I feel like it, he was a nurse. Oh, that's so funny. So he should have known. So that is something like, right, in a way, it's kind of like he was too busy taking care of other people than taking care of himself, right?
And that gives that soft heart that you were connecting with, that feeling of the softie and the,
yeah. Yes, absolutely. Lauren, do you feel like there's a message would you want to mom hear from him?
Yeah, I mean, Patty, one thing I definitely want to come back to is around that illness. Remember, he did say like you must have nudged or checked in, or he really feels like you're always there for me. It's almost like his cheerleader, that kind of vibe. So I feel like the message I'm getting is like just this thank you. You were great. You always had my back. You always supported my direction, my life in some way. And I feel like that is something he just wants to give you a big old hug on, because I think you were really, I did always, that you always had his best interest at heart. So I definitely feel that gratitude.
Yeah. So we will leave that with you, Patty. So have a beautiful day. For some, just notice feathers, because I feel like he gives you some feathers. So, so let's just take a look at that. Lauren, I want to thank you so much for being here with me today. You know, it was a special day and our special time, but I love that we made it work together. And everybody, keep an eye out, because we're going to have some pop-up lives on Instagram and Facebook. And so you guys keep an eye, make sure you're following Lauren or myself. And I really want to thank you, Lauren, so much for being here. And gosh, I can't believe in 10 days I will be seeing you. How exciting. I can't wait. Yeah, absolutely. And lots of love. And thank you, Heather. Looking forward to meeting you as well. Thank you, Lauren. And tell everybody where they can find you, Lauren.
Rainbow.12.22. And you can find Colby and I in 10 days in Manchester, Nashua area, New Hampshire, Tingsboro, Mass. So if you go to my site or Colby's, you can get spots to come see us live.
Yay. I can't wait. That's going to be fabulous, Lauren. And thank you so much. And thank you, everybody. Have a beautiful day, everyone.
Thank you for listening to the Colby Rebel Show. Be sure to follow Colby on social media at Psychic Rebel. And if you've enjoyed this podcast, please head on over to iTunes to leave a review to help Colby grow the tribe. Colby is an international psychic medium, teacher, best-selling author, and speaker. She is a master teacher of the Lisa Williams International School of Spiritual Development and is the owner of the Colby Rebel Spirit Center in Los Angeles. Visit colbyrebel.com.